Programmers for the Fiction Strand for the LGMU MA Short Film Festival, and this year is the sixth edition.
The films you will watch tonight are the culmination of an incredibly difficult selection process. Of all the submissions to the festival, the Fiction Strand had the most. We had to evaluate 852 individual fiction films this year. Narrowing that mountain of creativity down to just the 7 films you are about to see was a daunting task. We truly wish we could have included more, but we needed to tailor it to just one program. As a result, the stories you'll see tonight represent the absolute peak of this year's submissions.
As Francis Ford Coppola once said, fiction is the grandest of all illusions, and because it allows us to dream together in the dark. Sitting here in this auditorium tonight, I hope you can lean into that illusion and dream together with us and the filmmakers who made these films happen. The power of these stories connect us all, whether we're in this room tonight or joining our global audience.
The films of this program touch upon a wide range of topics, triggering different emotions. We move from the heartbreaking realism of complex mother-daughter relationships to the imaginative fantasy of a monster hunting odyssey. You will experience tension, wonder, awe, surprise, and perhaps a bit of discomfort as these filmmakers explore sometimes sensitive topics that challenge our perceptions. The way in which these stories are told is a testament to the grit and technical craft of the next generation of filmmakers.
Before we begin, we have a few ways for you to get involved tonight. First of all, we have the Audience Award. Your voice matters. Please remember to vote for your favourite film, as you will be deciding who takes home the Audience Award. And then we have Letterboxd. We want to hear your takes. Join our conversation on Letterboxd to log your watches and see which films are resonating with your fellow film lovers.
There is a prize for the best 10 Letterboxd reviews of a £50 Amazon voucher. Submit at least 10 reviews with a minimum of 30 words per review to be in with a chance of winning. Tonight marks the end of our screening and Q&A sessions, but the awards at scale is where the real celebrations happen tomorrow. Join us from 7 p.m. for the official LJMU MA Short Film Festival award ceremony. It's going to be a fantastic night of films, music, drinks, where we finally hand out the Paper Bird Award for the winners of each of our strands and the Audience Award.
Following the screenings tonight, we will have Q&As with the directors. This is a rare, intimate opportunity to hear from the greatest minds the future of cinema has to offer.
If you do find yourself uncomfortable at any time during sensitive scenes, please feel free to leave through the back exit and let us know if you're okay or need any other help otherwise. And let's prepare to dream in the dark together.
Thank you, and enjoy the Fiction Strand.
Hello, thanks again for watching the films with us, and thank you to everyone who's stuck around for these filmmaker Q&As. We have the directors of Portrait, Chop Chop, and Closed Eyes with us. We may have director come sit with us a bit later. We'll see. So once again, I'm Sean,
And I am Finley, and thank you all for staying, and thank you to our filmmakers for joining us tonight.
yeah, thank you for letting us include your films in today's fiction strand. Great work to all of you, and thank you very much for joining us this evening. What we're going to do is we're just going to ask each of you to introduce yourselves and your films briefly before myself and Finn ask a few questions of our own before throwing it to the audience who've just seen the films with any of their questions. So if we can start with you, Victoria.
Yes, hi. I hope you can hear me.
Yeah, it's all good.
Okay. Hi. Yeah, I'm Victoria. I'm a filmmaker from Germany, and I've made the film Closed Eyes. That was the one with the two sisters who get into a fight at night that gets really violent, and how this family deals with a conflict like that, or does not deal with it really.
Yeah, thank you. And is it Eugene or you have Jen?
It can be Eugene. I mean, my passport name is Yevhen, but I guess it's too complicated to pronounce. So I'm Eugene. I'm a filmmaker from Ukraine, but now I'm based in the UK. And unfortunately, right now I'm in Turkey. That is why I wasn't able to visit your wonderful festival in person. And I studied in the United Kingdom and stayed there after it in Edinburgh, Napier University. And my work, Chop Chop, is a film about cultural clash, and it was kind of strange to make a film about Scottish Pakistani community being from Ukraine myself. But I guess we tried to do our best.
Okay, yeah. And Daniel as well.
Hi, my name is Daniel. I am the director of Portrait. I am from Singapore and currently studying in LaSalle College of the Arts, Singapore. So yeah, Portrait is a story about telling your loved ones I love you before it's too late. And yeah, the film just encourages us to spend time with our loved ones because yeah, we don't have forever.
Okay, thank you. And do you want to start with?
Yeah, of course. Can I start with you, Daniel? I'd just like to congratulate yourself on the film for being absolutely unbelievable. It was one of the first films I watched, and I knew it immediately it had to be shown tonight. I found the film really visually striking and really important due to being in black and white. Can you give the audience a bit of an insight for why you chose to shoot it that way?
Yeah, so Portrait was very inspired by black and white photography. More specifically, the one where we have to kind of like develop them in where we have to use the like the projector and then we have to submerge them into water. So the whole premise was very inspired by that. And that's where I think my DOP and we worked together and we decided to make the film black and white. Yeah, in honor of film photography.
Oh, that is amazing. You really get a sense of that when the protagonist is shooting the deceased. And it really shows like the contradiction between the frenetic camera movement and then the still shots. How did that come about? How did you discover in doing that?
Yeah, all props to my DOP because a lot of it is really her ideas. A lot of it is really just like back and forth discussions, and she is such a great like DOP when it comes to feeling. She would always ask me for certain scenes like what is the main emotion, and yeah, so we actually have the short list planned, but we kind of like scrapped it. And then she will always ask me, what does this scene like focus on? What emotion do you want the audience to feel? And after explaining to her the scene and what emotions I want the scene to kind of bring across, she would just frame it accordingly to how she feels the frame will convey. Yeah.
That is unbelievable. And I've got to give a big shout out to your main actor because he was fantastic in it. What kind of direction did you give him to give such an intimate and honest portrayal?
So this is my second time working with the protagonist. His name is Dennis To. The first time it was only a 5-minute film, and I knew instantly for portrait I would want him to be my protagonist. So having that actor and director relationship beforehand, I think coming in, I think it's very easy to kind of work with him because he knows me. He knows me quite well, and I know him quite well as well. And he's quite an established actor as well in Singapore. So most of the time I would just sit down, tell him the emotions as well, and he would automatically get it within like the first 2 takes. And so by the third time it's usually just a variation, and we just move on to the next shot. So a lot of it is just me sitting down and trying to kind of like ask him, okay, so based on your own life, how would you have you experienced this emotion before? And he would then tell me some like his life experiences, which just we'll keep it between us. Yeah.
That's really great, Daniel. Thank you so much for the insight.
Thank you.
Oh yeah, sorry. Just one last question then, if that's okay. The lack of sound emphasizes the dialogue and diegetic noises within the film. Was there an idea to add a score or make it a more conventional film?
Oh, yeah, I think that was another question for you, Daniel, for portrait.
Oh,
sorry.
Yeah. So originally we also wanted to use a very popular Singaporean song. It is called Within You Remain. It is by Tokyo Square. Unfortunately, I think we couldn't get the rights for it. But it is a very well-known tune that I think a lot of Singaporeans would have already kind of like will be able to tell. Couldn't get the rights, so we decided to engage with a composer, Jazrael Low, amazing composer. We wanted a tune that kind of like, just really like represent the song very well. And also I gave her like a bunch of references, and it was just very. The sound design as well, because I also did the sound design. We didn't really want to or my approach to it. We don't want to flood the whole entire like film with music. So only scenes that matter, which is him working in the dark room, the red room, and as well as the dancing scene. Yes, to sort of like bring out the emotions when it's truly needed. If not, then we'll just have the silence overwhelm the film.
Yeah, the audience does really feel that to the full effect. Thank you so much, Daniel.
Yeah, thank you,
Thank you.
Daniel, and congratulations on your film. If I can move on to Victoria and Closed Eyes. Your film, Victoria, is very impactful and quite an intense situation between the daughters and the mother. And in terms of characters and the relationships that were depicted in the film, how did you go about casting the young actors with such sensitive issues in the script?
So I looked for sisters because I thought this is a conflict that siblings know. If you have a sibling, you know what it's like to have a fight, and especially when you're younger, these fights tend to turn physical in a way. So I was looking for. I didn't want to cast 2 different girls, but I wanted them to be sisters in real life, and so Actually, I went across town really and put something up saying I'm gonna shoot a film and I'm looking for actresses who are siblings and who wanna be part of a film like this. And they the family contacted me, and then I actually I really took the time to get to know them, the girls as well as the parents, because for something like this, I didn't just want to cast a child actress and then say do this, and then the shoot is over and the kids are gone and you never really see them again. So we actually really established a relationship, and it took almost a year that I spent time and rehearsed with the kids, and we really became friends over that actually. And so when you find a connection with the children, that makes it a lot easier to work with them on set and to to have them tell you their emotions and how they feel about the scene. And that was really rewarding to have children come to you and speak to you openly. I'm afraid because I have to do this now. I don't know, I'm happy, I'm anxious. So I think it really taught me to to engage with the children and take their feelings into consideration for the shoot.
Okay, very interesting. And your film utilizes a lot of actions over dialogue, and for a large part of the film, it does rely on the expressions of the child characters and the mother character. I don't think she says anything apart from "you're crazy" and "good night."
Yeah.
Was the time you had to prepare with the actors crucial to making it work with so little dialogue in the finished script?
Yes, to a certain extent, the rehearsals were really important for that. There was a little more dialogue actually in the script, and there was a little more dialogue that we shot. But when I did the edit, I saw that the things they said in those dialogues, they are already expressing that with their faces. So I don't need them to show it in the face and then say it again. So actually a lot of dialogue was just cut out in the editing process, because we felt like we don't need that. Whatever you can say through the image, say it through the image and not through dialogue. So that's, a lot of dialogue actually left the film in that process. Yeah.
Okay, that's a really interesting insight. Thank you very much. Regarding the creation of the film and its sensitive subject matter, I mean, I've got a younger brother myself, and like you said at the start of your intro about the film, those sort of sibling rivalries come to the fore. And in this situation, it's a single mother with the two children, and you sort of see a kind of cycle of violence developing, but it ends on an almost tender note between the mother and the older sister. How did the story develop, and what aspects of that relationship did you want to challenge or highlight through making the film?
So actually the situation in the bathroom is something that happened between my sister and me when I was quite young. And it's a childhood memory that is like stuck with me, especially because she didn't go up to my mom and tell her. That's, I think, what stuck with me the most. I did something, and usually kids are like, "Mom," or like, "Help," especially in a situation that's that serious. But she didn't. She stood up after a while and just kept brushing her teeth, and we went to bed, and that was it. So that's, I think, what interested me the most in making the film. When do kids not speak out, and when do they kind of protect their other sibling? And I think that the reason for a dynamic like that is that you don't feel safe. If you don't feel safe going up to your parent telling them something, then you rather like develop this thing even as a kid to just not say anything. And that was really, the film was to me really about the bond between the sisters and the way they kind of, they're like stuck together in the same situation, so there's the most love between them in the film. And still I didn't want to show a mother that was just like bad and mean and like hitting her kids. I still wanted there to be a sense of how does a dynamic like that develop? What happened to the mom? What situation is she in? Why isn't she calm? Why isn't she the mother that you go up to when you have a problem? And still, that was really important to me, to have a moment of tenderness, as you said, or at least something like, I'm doing the best I can, but today I failed.
Yeah, you can see that with the set, with the dishes are piled up, and she does shoes in the hallway when she comes in. She doesn't look particularly happy, and while that doesn't excuse her striking the older child, she's trying to stop the older child from having pushed over the younger child. And then you're wondering what is going on in the mother's life that is leading her to take those actions. Maybe she's struggling as well. So there is empathy for all of the characters, even though there are some tough scenes to see, between the mother and the older child, and then the older child having that accident in the bathroom. Was it all filmed in a real house set? So I'm assuming none of that was a stage set. It was all an actual.
It was filmed in a real apartment, but the bathroom was built as a set where you could remove the walls.
Okay.
Because we have a lot of shots that are from the side of the walls, so we built the bathroom as a set with movable walls, but the rest was a real apartment. It was clean and white and had nothing in it, so there was a lot of set design done with like the wallpapers and all the paint, but it was a real apartment.
Oh, that's fascinating. I don't think we could see the joins between the onset and the apartment, so that's really good work for the set designers and decorators there. Well,
thank you. It was a lot of work.
Well, thank you very much, and congratulations on the film.
Thank you.
For you, Eugene, now, Chop Chop, you mentioned that you were surprised perhaps that you ended up making a film about a Scottish Pakistani family regarding your Ukrainian background. How did it come about, your involvement in the project as director?
First of all, I have to say that it's a core of my program, of my master's program, which I graduated nearly 2 years ago in 2024. That is the thing of our Erasmus Mundus project, which is called Kina Eyes. It is a program distributed in 4 universities across Europe: Scotland, Ireland, Portugal, and Estonia. And I was in Scotland team, luckily, and we had guys from all over the world: screenwriters, directors of photography, sound designers, producers, and so on, and directors, of course. And we were developing the story, any story, like in this very strange environment when you have like guys all over the world, and we were looking for something. We were like essentially outsiders in Edinburgh, trying to find anything that is connected to the city, which we literally don't know. And then after a lot of drafts, after a lot of attempts to find the story, our screenwriter from Iran, Amir Masoud Salili, who is right now in Tehran, and I'm wishing him all the luck. Now he approached me and he told me that, you know what, I don't know what to write, because my only interest in this life as a screenwriter, as a director, as a filmmaker is just, local Middle East stories. And I told him, okay, my friend, I'm also very interested in Middle East stories because actually I'm half Jewish, and that is why I studied in 4 years in Jewish school. That is why I kind of can understand what's happening in this region, maybe a little bit. And we decided, okay, he's Iranian, I'm Ukrainian with Jewish heritage, so let's do something about local guys. And the local guys in United Kingdom, Muslim guys, most of all, it's Pakistani community. And we started to research, we started to talk to people, and then this story came up. Really strange story. At first, it was a story told through the eyes of a kid, from point of view of a kid, and then we switched to a point of view of the father because it was like very simple, very obvious dramatic question: who is making the most important decision in the story? And obviously, it was a father. So yeah, that's how this script appeared on the light of uh, day, and that's how we did it.
Yeah, just go back to your Jewish heritage there, Eugene. How do you think that corresponds with the film?
Yeah, it corresponds because, for example, I spent 4 years in a very rigorous religious school when I was a kid, like from 10 till 13. And for example, we also had these conversations about circumcision all the time. Like, for example, we had this Hasidim from America, and they tried to bribe us. They kind of came to us and told us, guys, uh, if you circumcise, you'll have a brand new PlayStation. It was kind of funny by that time, and it was really strange when some of the guys, like in 2 or 3 weeks, appeared and started bragging about their new PlayStations, and we understood immediately who did this or who did not, and so on. Uh, yes, so that is kind of my connection to this issue, um, because I kind of had this experience being being really simultaneously disgusted, afraid, and mesmerized by this strange ritual when they're like taking a part of you from your very important part of the body.
The PP,
And
yeah.
yeah.
And humor drives the film throughout, even though it's dealing with some sensitive topics. Was there always a comedic element to it, in terms of the relationship between the grandfather, father, and the son, or was there an attempt to make it more dramatic at any
Mm,
point?
I mean, uh, we had kind of 15 drafts of the script, and the first drafts, they were like really, it was dark comedy, like clear dark comedy with a lot of dick jokes. As we discussed with our mentor, yeah, it was all dick jokes, dick jokes, dick jokes. And then we kind of tried to find a balance between humor and drama. I don't know. It's up to the audience to decide whether we managed to do it or not. But anyway, in in this situation, in this story, it was really important for us to find some balance.
Thank you, Eugene. In the past, you've worked on different formats such as TV and documentary. What do you find the biggest difference in working on short films, especially one with such a subject like Chop Chop?
To be honest, I don't have like a really huge documentary background. I have kind of docudrama in my filmography, but it's a little bit different. It's more like, staged, stage scenes recreating some historical events and some archival footage followed by voice of narrator who is explaining what's exactly happening. So for me, it's not really a big difference, at least at this stage. Right now, I'm developing a pure documentary story, even though it's kind of not my thing, but I've decided to try anyway. So, I mean, if you're talking about Chop Chop, I guess there is absolutely no connection between documentary and my attempts to tell the story in fictional realm, something like this.
Did perhaps that sort of docudrama recreation background, like if you said the amount of research that you did in terms of preparing the script with your Iranian co-writer, do you think that led to a more realistic and grounded film in terms of the intergenerational relationships
Okay, got it.
that they've got?
Yeah, I mean, probably that's kind of my personal approach to any story, to any project. It doesn't matter fictional or documentary, because initially I have kind of academical background, and that is why I used to research everything that I'm working on. And that is why I'm trying to read books, I'm trying to talk to people, uh, and of course it was very sensitive matter, very sensitive topic that we are trying to approach. That is why we have guys from Muslim with Muslim background in our crew. We talked a lot with actors. So we visited the local Edinburgh mosque. We talked to local Pakistani community, uh, and in this sense, I mean, yeah, we did our job as kind of researchers, because
Yeah.
we being outsiders try to be as realistic as possible, and we of course we realized that it wouldn't be possible, like 100% possible, to be as realistic, like 100%, 100% realistic, but we try to do our best in this sense.
Well, it's resulted in a very compelling short film. Congratulations.
Thank you.
Right, for our audience now, who've got any questions, if you stick a hand up, we've got a microphone, we can rove around. Does anybody have any questions for our filmmakers this evening? I mean, our questions were pretty good, but come on, you must have some good ones as well. Okay, so we'll just have a question from our audience now, guys.
Hi, so my question is for Eugene. I really loved your film. I thought the dark comedy really worked for me. Had a great time watching it. I was curious what your personal thoughts were on the protagonist, because to me he sort of reminded me of the dad from Fargo, in that he's this sort of bumbling, pathetic guy with no respect. But in your film, he does care for his son, and it comes through. And I was just curious: there's these two extremes to him, and just given his complexity, do you view him in a good light or a bad light, or more of a neutral sort of standing?
It's really hard to answer. um, I mean, all of us humans, we have this bad side, good side, whatever. And I didn't want any of our persons, any of our characters, any of our protagonists, all three of them, to be like absolutely clear good or bad. I wanted like some complexity in them, and of course I wanted these. I don't know actually. What did you feel in the finale of the film, in the climax scene of the film? But anyway, I wanted the audience to somehow have some compassion to the grandfather. He is rigorous, but that's how he lives. That's his world. He's not good, he's not bad, he's neither good nor bad. It's just his life, it's just how he used to look at this world, and that's it. And the same for the grandfather, the father, and the son, because all of them have kind of different backgrounds, different experiences. Uh, and it's kind of a question of a lens which we use to look at this world, and that's it.
That was really interesting. Thank you for the response.
Thank you.
Any more questions? We've got one on this side here.
Thanks ever so much. Brilliant film, Strand. Really enjoyed it this evening. Thank you very much. A question to Daniel. I'm just really intrigued, kind of the origins for your story. Where did this come from? You know, in England, we kind of talk about urban legends. It kind of has that sort of feel to it. But I also know that in Australian Aboriginal culture, there's kind of like real concerns about images of dead people, looking at images of dead people or hearing recordings of dead people, and that they kind of can hinder spirits, people passing over to the next life. And I just wondered sort of what were the origins of the story Portrait, which I just thought was really beautiful and poignant.
Thank you for the question. So the origin is a little bit grim because so it was kind of inspired by funeral photos. Yeah, typically ones that are normally seen like in front of coffins. And so how I have thought about the story is because I was in the Philippines for a student exchange. And so I have, so being apart from home for about 4 months, I really missed my family and I really missed my friends. So I started to, just spiral and thought like, what if I couldn't, say I love you, like to my loved ones and to my friends, like personally, face to face. And so the film was originally supposed to be made as part of my project in the Philippines. However, I couldn't make so I had like the locations set, I had the cast over there set as well, but I just couldn't find the production crew for it because I wasn't able to kind of like find friends to help make the project come to fruition. So I came back to Singapore, like thankfully, and said my I love yous to all my family and friends. And yeah, I proposed this idea to my friends and we decided to just make this film together in association with Maple Tree, who funded the project. And yeah, unfortunately also because I said that I had the locations and cast in the Philippines. One of them, who was supposed to be the protagonist for the Philippines project, 2 weeks before filming in Singapore, he passed on. And if it wasn't for him, the project wouldn't have been made in Singapore because he encouraged me. Although I had to let go of my locations and I had to let go of the cast, he encouraged me like to make the film in Singapore. And that's the whole reason why I proposed this idea to my friends and made the film. And yeah, just so yeah, it's a wow origin story. But yeah, it's crazy seeing how I guess one of my concerns or my anxieties in the Philippines is able to kind of like translate it into film. Yeah.
That's fantastic, thank you. And there's that dedication, I think, at the end of the film, isn't there, to your friend? So, any more questions from the audience here?
Yeah.
Just there.
Hi. Can I just say all the films are brilliant, and if they were selected from 800, you've done ever so well. My question is for Victoria. I've been thinking about the film since I saw it, and am I bad in thinking that I felt sorry for the mother, and I pitied her, and it wasn't about the sibling rivalry for me. It was about the heartache of a single mum working all day, coming home to a sink full of dirty dishes at the end of a tether. So was that your intention? I mean, she does lose it and slaps the kid, which is awful. But was that your intention, for us to feel for her and the position she was in?
Yeah, in a way, yes. that's why the set is the way it is, and she's wearing I don't know if it's recognizable, but she's wearing a thing that you wear at a hospital. So she works in healthcare and comes home, so she's obviously been doing a really hard job all day, and comes home and has this just more work when you come home, which is something that I think a lot of mothers, especially single mothers, have. They work and they come home and there's work, and it's sometimes there is not, you can't always do the right thing in a situation like that. So it's nice for me to hear that one feels with the mother and that she's not that mean character, which was really really important to me. So yeah, that was my intention, not to that it draws away from what the sisters are going through, but to still not think this is a film about two poor kids who grow up with a monster mother, but to show that yeah, that this woman is not, you know, she's not mean, and she's not a bad mom, really. She does something that makes her a bad mom in that moment, but she's really she's trying her best, and so that's what I try to convey, which is not, it doesn't excuse anything, but it's, I think it still is a more realistic portrayal of her. You don't come home and you're mean to your children without a reason. That's I don't think any mom does that.
No.
So there always is a backstory to these things that happen at home, and of course I talk to my own mom a lot about it, and I know that she always says I had moments where I was like not myself and where I didn't make the right choice, but still every day I tried to do my best raising you. So I wanted that perspective to be in the film. Yeah.
Excellent. Thank you.
Thanks.
Maybe have time for one more question from the audience. Last chance. There we go. Oh, there's two more hands gone up. So when did you give you your last chance? So you're all like putting your hands up. Where were you 2 minutes ago? Okay, Jonathan in the middle.
Apologies for not asking this question sooner. My question's for Victoria. You mentioned that the scene in the bathroom was based on like your own personal experience with your sister. For her to not say anything to your mum or to your parents, was that like, have you ever asked her since why she didn't say anything? Why it was just silence? Was it instant forgiveness or was it protection? Why do you think it was?
It's what's interesting is that I remember this situation very vividly, and she doesn't at all. She has no memory of that evening. So I asked her, and she couldn't really reply because she's like, I don't remember this ever happening. So I do think that maybe she pushed it back in her mind, as a response from her body, maybe even, but I think that she'd say it was for protection or to avoid further escalation. And also what I just said, children feel when their parents have pressure on them. They can feel if there's a heavy weight on the shoulders of the parents. And I also think that children know when to not put more on them and not go up and say, oh, there's another thing you have to deal with and I'm hurt and now take care of me. They somehow in them know this is not for my mom right now. This is not for her to deal with. So I think my sister knew that back then. And although she doesn't remember, I think that's the reason, to maybe protect us, but also in a way to protect my mom from having to deal with more issues.
Excellent. Thank you so much.
And just here in front.
quick question to Daniel. I noticed your portraiture was very distinctive, and your photographs, the portraits you took of all your subjects. Did you model that on any particular photographer? Because with your approach with black and white and with your approach with the film, I just wondered if you actually had any particular still photographer hero that you actually might have based your style on.
I didn't really base it off any still photographer or any renowned one, but I based it off existing like photos that I see that is still done in Singapore. So the dark room that we shot in, it is a shop in very near my house. It's called Hip Xiong. They do film photography. So all of the equipments are all theirs. And so they also do glass photography, the ones that are printed on glass. And so I sort of modeled it according to how he would shoot his photos. So yeah, it's very, I guess, like based on his experience. Yeah.
Thank you.
Okay, I think we're gonna wrap up there. Thank you to all three of you for joining us this evening for Q&As, and all the filmmakers involved in your films and the other films in the Strand. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Thank you for having us.
Thank you.
Hopefully we'll see you online tomorrow for the awards from 7 p.m. UK time. And good luck with your films in the Strand.
And you can find that on the LGMU MA short film account on YouTube.
And today's Filmmaker Q&A will be available online for you guys to share amongst the other filmmakers team or anybody you think might be interested. And good luck with these projects and the future projects you've got and you're working on at the moment. Great to have you involved in the festival this year. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks.
Thank you, guys.
Okay. And thank you to our audience for coming down tonight and supporting the filmmakers.
Thank you all.
So good night, Victoria, Daniel, Eugene. Thanks again for joining us. See you tomorrow night.
See you. Bye.
See you. Bye.